Home Waters is a one-of-a-kind cultural event. Home Waters is the creation of art, live, on stage. Home Waters is a simultaneous production of painting, poetry, and music in synchronized collaboration to express the grandeur of Ozark landscapes. Witness the power of art. Feel the improvisational energy being created live on stage. Celebrate the unique combination of talent blending together in soulful response.
An Ozark place. Swallows dive for unsuspecting mayflies suspended above a creek where transparent water ripples over a gravel matrix combining endless shapes and sizes and densities into a bed gentle enough to sleep on. Thunder resonates through defining bluffs, marking this hidden spot few people ever see. A wilderness apart, a world unto its own. I walk lightly, don't interrupt. I am privileged guest, witness to things defying explanation, things that flourish without me.
Home Waters combines three media into one theme, three voices, three rhythms merging to create a presence that moves beyond words toward the soul of existence.
It is easy to mistake appearances. Often we need to be reminded of depths below the surface. That a story, a life of stories lies hidden, yet we tend to judge only now, the close surface, the easy view lazy eyes first see. Remind us that a beginning matters. Such substance from a modest Ozark creek where sand and rock holds water gentle enough even fools consider.
More than words, the images of poetry join mood-setting music, both joining the spontaneous creation of a panoramic watercolor, materialized and projected on a large screen before your eyes.
You know, when we do these performances, that's what you want to call them anyway, I'm the artist doing the actual painting process here, and I choose to do watercolor for several reasons. And first of all, let me state, if you are familiar with painting, watercolor is often considered one of the more difficult of mediums to use. You're like, why would you risk the failure of painting live in public with a one-shot medium like watercolor? And that does have its sort of anxiety, I guess, but it also helps to create some of the energy in which I paint. I think part of the beauty of it, it's very transparent colors, that the mixing on the paper, the canvas, if you will, and how it just brush strokes enlarged, kind of merge color into shape, and suddenly they become realism, and you get these little subtle nuances of color blendings and textures that are created on the page. So, you know, I'm lost in my work up there. When you're an artist, at least a physical two-dimensional painter, which I'm doing there, the creative side of your brain kind of takes over. So I'm lost into that painting, and I'm trying to recreate a scene that is very familiar with me. You know, having grown up here in the Ozarks, my favorite places are these little streams and the waterways of the Ozarks, and that's what this whole theme of this book is about. So I think the natural use of a water-based medium, watercolor, is only natural. Hopefully before your eyes you see this painting sort of build and see how a creative person operates and puts all these elements together to create hopefully a beautiful scene that very much goes in relation to the working of the music and the reading of the poetry, and you just kind of set yourself back and let yourself go with the river.
My part of the project is, of course, the music. And I like to use some of the old Celtic airs. I think they go well with the project for a number of reasons. One, the ancient Celtic people never developed a written language of their own. And they kept a record of their culture, their history, through word-of-mouth poems. And a lot of these were set to music. So the music, the Celtic music, especially the airs, they they represent the culture. They seem to be a larger part of the culture than music of a lot of places. This means that especially if you have Celtic ancestry, or even if you don't, it doesn't matter that much, that I think a lot of people respond on a deeper level, emotional level, to this Celtic music than they would other types of music. And of course, being the musician part of this project, my job is to hopefully create an emotional receptiveness in the minds of the audience, so that the other things that are happening, the poetry and the creation of the music or of the picture, has a deeper emotional meaning. This is what I'm trying to do, is to open the emotional mind, let's say, of the audience, so that they can really enjoy or have a lot more meaningful experience with the other two things that are happening. And if it works, it's really a great thing. We occasionally look out over the audience, and many of them just seem to be rapt, looking at the three things happening. So we know it's working. And plus the fact, it's not really work to me. I have a lot of fun with it, and I hope everybody enjoys it.
The fascinating thing is bringing the three media together. That's what we think is unique about this project. It seems like the music kind of sets a mood. The painting is being developed before the eyes of the audience, from a blank page to a completed project. And I think my part as a poet, the poetry gives words, gives articulation. And so I really think we're tapping into several levels of the human audience. I think they're hearing it, and they're feeling it, and they're sensing it all simultaneously. I think there's an anticipation of where it's going to go. And it's very satisfying. It never gets old. It's the same event with some modulation on the painting we're doing or the different pieces of poetry we read. But it always feels new, because it's actually a new creation each time. The whole experience is a new creation, and each event is kind of like its own artifact. So a painting by itself would be great, music by itself is great, poetry by itself is great. When you bring them all three together, you get this really dynamic experience. And I hope you feel that when we do it, because it's just as dynamic for each of us as artists and participants as it is for the audience. The heart of God bleeds pure, springs upward as all good things rise. So this gift multiplies the universe of time. A river begins and we will follow. We will marvel together, the birds and I. Broken limbs, fallen leaves, hands of God. And will you travel with us too? You can if you learn to see.
We invite you to celebrate with us this unique combination of talent, this artistic fusion of music, poetry, and painting. Join us in heartfelt response to land and water, the forces that shape us.